welcome to the Brown Lounge. I'm Holly Brown, and today I'm doing crab puffs as an appetizer. This has been one of the most popular appetizers that I think I've ever made, and I have to credit Campbell's Kitchen on allrecipes.com, which is where I got the recipe. And a lot of times I modify recipes, and I have to tell you I've never modified this one. It's perfect as is. So let me show you how it's done. Personally, anything that has the word puff in it, meaning puff pastry, you gotta love it, and so I do. And I really focus on just using puff pastry from Preppage Farms. I don't really find the need to make it myself. So this is a sheet of puff pastry straight out of the box after it's been a little bit defrosted. And I'm actually using a shot glass here. I've tried different sizes for my appetizer crab puffs. You know, sometimes you want them just bite-sized. Sometimes you want them a little bit bigger if you're going to put them on a plate and serve 2 or 3 to an individual at a time. But I like this little shot glass. You can use a metal cookie cutter as well. And so all you do is just make these little rounds, and I'm putting them here on my Silpat, which keeps it's a nice anti-stick on top of my baking sheet. And I'm just going to fill those out and put them in the oven at 400 for about 8 to 10 minutes. You want them to be golden brown. So let me show you what they look like when they are golden brown, which is just like this. And what I'm going to do here, once they're cooked, I'm essentially going to just slice them very gently there, very gently with a bit of a serrated knife. And those will then become the containers for our crab puff mixture, which I will show you how to make in just a minute. And it's actually all right if they don't completely separate, because if they're still connected, they'll hold the filling in quite a bit better. So I'm just opening them up a little bit. So you do that to every one. This serves about 24 altogether if you use one package of puff pastry. So if you're serving a large group, you might want to do double the recipe. So that's the starting point. We're going to put these guys in the oven. I'm going to finish up this, and then I'll show you how to make the crab mixture. So the filling for the crab puffs is a great combination of course, crab, but also almonds for a nice crunch, and some green onions, paprika, and horseradish for spice. So here's what we've got. We've got just one little 8-ounce package of cream cheese, and I've let it soften a bit in the bowl so that it's easier to manipulate. And then you can buy fresh crab, or I like this bumblebee crab meat. It's a nice fancy lump crab meat. And the nice thing about keeping on hand the frozen puff pastry and then the canned crab is you can really make this appetizer at the last minute. If you get invited to a party and someone says, you know, oh, can you bring an appetizer? You don't even really have to go to the store if you have some of these items on hand. So there's the crab meat. And then I've also got, you can do 3 to 4 green onions. These were pretty large green onions. They're nice organic, so I only used 3. And I want to chop them up very finely, about 3/4 of the way up to the green stem. Also, you like to get that pretty green color in there. So we mix that up. And then 1 tablespoon of milk softens this up just a bit more. But you don't want too much liquid there. Be real careful of that. Because you don't want the crab to be too liquidy. You want it to be nice and firm when you put it into the crab puffs so they don't ooze out the side. And then we put a 1/2 cup of chopped almonds. I actually like the ones that still have the skin on them, but you can use the skinless almonds as well. Just depends on what you like. And this just gives the flavor a wonderful crunch. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of horseradish, which is always that surprising taste that people don't expect. So 1 tablespoon there. Give it just a little bit more. I didn't get my spoon all the way in there. There we go. Sometimes you have to just improvise. And I'm going to give it a tiny bit more. I like spice, so I'm going to give it just a tiny bit more, maybe a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. And then give it about, 1/2 teaspoon or so sort of measure it like that, but half a teaspoon of black pepper. And then last but not least, a little paprika inside the mix, and then we'll also sprinkle it on top to make it really pretty. And there you go. Doesn't that look nice? And then we're just going to fill the crab puffs. And I've got this pretty plate. You can decorate your plate with any kind of green. I actually had some basil sitting around that I had left over from making a mozzarella salad. And so I just put that on the plate, and we're just going to fill these guys up. Like I said, if you have this such that they're not two separate pieces, but they're still connected a little bit, it'll make it easier to put about a tablespoon of the crab mixture right in there and kind of let it sit on top. Of course, when someone eats it, they're going to push it down a bit, so you don't want it to ooze out, but that's a nice presentation like that. And you just fill them as such. About a tablespoon each, maybe slightly less, depending on whether or not you're going to serve these, as I said, as an appetizer, and so people are going to literally have to eat them while they're talking versus being able to sit down and plate them on a dish. So that's what we're going to do. We just fill up the plate, and at the end, we'll just sprinkle a little paprika on there just for pretty garnish. Whoops, I'll keep going. But won't that be pretty? Crab puffs, great appetizer.